Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing F1 2019 League, sponsored by Hype Energy, season number 18, round number 5 here at Catalunya in Spain. My name is King-Kodiak. I am standing in for Austin Knight and Nick Orflatchis, as Austin is working, and unfortunately Nick's internet decided to explode. So it is just I, myself, in the box for you lovely people this evening. Let us then crack on with today's festivities. Let me just double check that everything seems to be working, and it would seem to be so. Okay, now I seem to have the sound bug, which is nice, so I have no car engines at the moment. Hopefully I'll be able to sort that out later. Now I'm told that does kind of sort itself out a bit later on, but we will crack on with what we have. Right. 13 drivers join us this evening. The one downside of having so many esports individuals in this league is that when an esports event is on, such as what is coming up next week, they all are invited to that. So 13 drivers join us for this eve. I have no doubt that we will still have some amazing racing ahead of us. Let's see who we've got. We have got VSR Collis in the McLaren just starting his time lap. We have got the current championship leader, Formula Danny, yet to lead the pit. Hypers has just come over the line, as you can see, in the Williams. And with a 1:18.0, a fairly non-representative time. He's on the medium tyres. He's on the hard tyres. I still haven't got used to the colouring look. Donoso. Now, Fabrizio Donoso has been elevated to a full-time drive in this league, due to other drivers having to drop out for real-life reasons. And he will then... Whoa, nice drift around turn 2. Nicely done in the Haas, as James jumps up into second position in the Alfa Romeo 1:18.287. Everybody going out on the hards. Everybody going out on the hards. A lot of people going out on the hard tyres. Not what I expected to see, but we will see. Then this kind of leads me to believe we're in for a dry race. So we will... Oh, we've lost Lassie already. I'm just going to try something. I've been told alt-tabbing out and back in again can help with that sound problem. Nope, didn't make a difference for me, unfortunately. So, living with what I've got, I'm afraid. It is what it is. I can only hope that it sorts itself out for the actual race, because I can't risk leaving the session and coming back into it, as I have no invites spare. So, never mind. We move on. So, we have got Corny in the Ferrari that is currently fourth with a 1:18.759. The banker laps are not too far apart at the moment. VSR Collis, as mentioned. Formula Danny, as mentioned. VSR Flying Finn in the Williams. Out there on the soft tyres at the moment. Where is he? He's just coming to the end of... Is that his time lap? Or Lassie has rejoined. Good to see. Now, what is Flying Finn going to get on the body? 1:16.846. Wow, that's actually quite a decent lap on the soft. That's a very strong lap indeed. I believe the pole on the PS4 side with a 17.3. So that's a real cracker by the Williams. Very nicely done. We have Garrix in the Red Bull, also out there on the hard tyres. Almost everybody has come out on the... In fact, everybody that has joined the circuit has come out on the hard tyres. Collis has yet to come out on track. The only one that hasn't done so, as mentioned, is Flying Finn. Preschneider, Mercedes, he's coming into this outlap. I was about to give him a lap time he hadn't actually achieved. So, bravo me. Photon, he's yet to come out of the pits. Oh, several other people just coming out. I think one of them... Oh, CRG Steve in the Force in... Ah, he did it again. Oh, goodness me. In the Racing Point, as he is just starting his outlap. Ah, Lasse had the same sound problem that I've got, unfortunately. I don't seem to have I don't have a means of rejoining the session, sadly. So I don't have the same option to leave and rejoin, of which I apologise for. And finally, Jarno Opmeer, the winner of the opening round of this season in this tier, also on his outlap on the hard tyres in the Renault. So we will see then what happens. Hypers is out again. He's sticking with a set of hards. So yet to switch over to the soft tyres. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get the Banzai stage of this session on the softer rubber. A few people getting quite a few laps on the hard tyres, so that's a third lap on the board then for Donoso, and also for Corny as well on the Ferrari. So 18.2 for Donoso and 18.5 for Corny. So the hard runners only half a second apart at the moment, but that absolutely belting lap from Flying Finn in the Williams. That's a Williams 1-2 at the moment, I've just realised. Oh, how they wish they could emulate that in the real world. Yellow flags at the moment is nothing usually to... Oh, steady hypers. Usually the yellow flags at this age is nothing to worry about. It's just people backing up and giving themselves some space so they don't bunch up too much. Formula Danny, our championship leader, is coming to the end of his lap. End of his out lap, I beg your pardon. That's just following through then on a hot lap, albeit a bit of a quiet one. Into turn 1, then sweeps through 2. He's also on the harder tyre, so expect the 18.0, 18 something on the board. Whoa! No. That is not going to stick. Never mind. I don't think we'll be seeing... he seems to still be pushing on. His ERS deployment is very high. Oh, he gets a bit of a twitch. Coming through turn 4. Down through the gears into 5, a very long way away from the opening apex. I think this lap's going to be pretty much binned. Now, I imagine the reason why the ERS deployment is up is just so he can get back to the... Oh, never mind. Yeah, he's binned it now. That wasn't going well for Danny. But then those hard tyres do take a little time to get up to speed. So that is not entirely surprising. Flying Finn's out there again. As he lead Williams. Jarno has broken into the 17s on those hard tyres. 117.957 in the Renault. Collis now sending another soft time. 173.08. That's around about, I believe, where the PS4 pole was. In the McLaren, he will not be doing another lap. There's the second McLaren of Lasse, who has already had a bit of a technical problem. Unfortunately, he's had the same one I have, but I can't rejoin the session, sadly, as I have no spare invites. It's the luck of the draw. The time I need one is the time I don't have one, as I've already used the one spare one I had. Never mind, we will carry on as best we can. That's a Haas coming through. That must be Donoso. He's the only one out there. Yep, he is coming out again. As you can see, he's done quite a few laps on these hard tyres, or on hard tyres. He's listed as out lap at the moment. So he may have come in, not changed the tyres. Maybe actually running on the same set he has done before. His ERS battery, of course, fully charged. Hyper's having a look at the mediums. Interesting. Still plenty of time in this session to go. Catalunya, not a particularly long lap, as Donoso has let through. That's a Toro Rosso. That must be Garrix. No, that's a... No. Garrix, what did I even said in my mind, that's a Red Bull, and I still went to Garrix. Never mind. Photon is who's just flown past Donoso, as Photon is coming to the end of his first time at 131 by Danny. Yep, I think that's a lot of slowing down he's just done there. What does Photon head over? And that is a 18.5, which, there's a hundredth of a second off the back of Preschneider. Hello, Flying Finn. Nice to see you. 1:16.83, improving on his pole time on that soft rubber. He's sticking very much to the soft rubber. He hasn't come out on the hards at all. Interesting. So trying essentially the contra strategy, but usually the contra strategy is the hard tyres compared to the soft. So curious. I'm fairly sure we're going to have a dry race this time around. There is Hypers has indeed come out on the medium tyres. That's curious. Don't tend to find the middle compound used is usually one or the other. It is usually either all soft or all hard, or a mixture of soft and hard. Not normally the mediums get a showing, as Steve is following around the track, but we'll see what he's able to do. Collis is considering the same. Curious. No lap time from Lasse yet. Still the only one on the board without a time. There is Jarno, 1:17.7. So we now have a couple of drivers in the 17 mark. Where is Danny? He is, that's turn 10. I always struggle, no matter what Catalunya is definitely a bogey track for me. Doesn't matter what I've tried to drive here, I struggle. I've never managed to hook up a lap here, irrespective of what I've tried to drive around it. Interesting that Danny goes down to 2 on the ERS deployment through the corners. I thought generally the drivers went down to 0, but he's come in. He's not happy with that, so into the pits he comes still with a 31.9. He's giving himself a lot of work to do. If he doesn't improve, 6 minutes 6 minutes 15 on the board to go. Where is Jarno? He is coming through 6, 7, and 8. So he's coming to the end. He'll be coming to the end of Sector 2 fairly quickly. And he's coasting. Has he run out of fuel? I'm only judging that by the fact that there's no throttle input. Oh no, here he goes. And of course his fuel light was on. Of course I can't hear him, so I don't know if the engine had actually cut out. I know the hybrids are a bit quieter, not normally this quiet. Collis is out there again, 17.308 on the board. He's just been knocked down to second. Is that Hypers that's just come over the line? It is indeed. He's 17.246 on the board. Why are there no car sounds? Unfortunately, that is a bug that I've encountered, and I'm unable to leave and rejoin the session. So if it doesn't resolve itself when we change into the race, sadly, there is nothing I can do about it. I can only apologise for that. It is out of my control, and if I leave and I can't rejoin, then the stream entirely ends. At least we have something, a bit more of a radio broadcast, if nothing else. Lasse is back out on there. He's gone for the mediums. It looks like it's almost like the people are considering their Banzai time. What I refer to as the Banzai time is when everybody comes out for the last few minutes of qualifying. Let's say everyone's considering the mediums instead of the softs. Curious. Very, very curious. But Lasse, the only man without a time on the board. As you can see, he's coming towards turn 13. No, he isn't. He's coming towards turn 10. Beg your pardon. So he'll be wanting to take as little life out of his tyres as possible and then wind it up and let it go when he comes across the line. Flying Finn still, that's 16.8. The only time set on the softs. I'm sure somebody else. Yeah, I thought we had somebody else. Collis set his time of 17.3 on the soft tyres as well. Hypers set his time on the mediums of 17.2, so pretty good effort for him. As Lasse comes over the line in the McLaren. And off he goes. He's got 4 minutes. He's got plenty of time to finish that one. A few more people coming out. Jarno Otmere, Steve and Corny all coming out. James on a hot lap as well. Where is he in the Alpha? He is... Where is he? That's turn 3, I think. Yep. No, it isn't. That's wrong end of the lap. That's 12, 13 and 14. So we'll see what he can do. A 1:18.2 is his time on the hards. What can he do on the mediums? Streaming towards the line. That's a 17.232. Slots him into second. Nicely done from Veloci James in the Alfa Romeo. That's 14 thousandths of a second ahead of fellow Veloci racer Hypers. Nicely done. Where is Formula? Formula Danny still has not come out. Well, someone's confident. That's he's going to give himself a lot of work. Once again, just as I say something, the other Alpha of Formula Danny has come out on track. Again on the mediums. No one else chancing the softs. Collis has got them fitted, but isn't out there on track. That's Garrick's directly behind Danny. There's Photon, who's our sole Toro Rosso driver. Denoso's back out again. Donoso has won 2 rounds in this season, but was a reserve driver when he did so. Now he's been elevated up to a full-time driver, which means that the wins technically count. They're not ignored, but a reserve driver doesn't get put on the championship table until they become a full-time driver, and then all results that reserve driver has achieved is then put on the board. So Donoso, once this round is done, he's all his results will be put on the board. He'll be right up there, if not leading the championship, as Danny has a 4th, a DNF, a 3rd, and a 2nd. So not a bad set of results. Oops, he gets a bit squiggly coming into, what's that, turn 12? Yes, that's turn 12. Get some more heat in those medium tyres. Here we go. Most people coming back out on track. We'll see then what he is able to do. Hello to those in the chat. Good to see some familiar names out there. It's, glad to be back in the F1 commentary box. As I say, I'm standing in for Austin Knight, who is working, and unfortunately, all flatters his internet decided it didn't want to play ball anymore, and he has not been able to join me. So it's just myself talking over this race. Whoa, Danny, you pushed very hard coming through turn 2. Compromises his line into 3. Yeah, he will have time to do 2 time laps on the mediums. That's not too bad, but if he wants to start the race on them, then he's already taken a fair chunk of life out of them, if that is what he does. But he will not have time to come in and fit a new set of boots. He's taking, oh, now that's much tighter into turn 5. So he is taking this lap very seriously. Sweeps through turn 6, over to the right, and then absolutely jumps over the apex of 7. Oh, uses all available road through the apex of 8. Nicely done. Sweeps over again the apex of 9. And that is James. That is very much sitting out of the way. There's a lot of people that Danny's going to have to hope they've noticed him. Oh, very deep. He's been put off into turn 10. Flying Finn up. Oh, man, he's out again on the soft tyres. He is not wanting to chance anything at the moment. And Garrix has noticed Danny coming, but that wide line through 10 is really going to compromise Danny's time through the final 2 turns. Down into turn 16. What can Danny get on the board? It is a 17.8. That puts him into 9th as Donoso jumps up into 16.996 on the medium tyres. What a great job by Donoso. It looks like... Now, is Danny... His ERS has turned down at the moment. He's still pushing on, though. Oh, there he goes. He's turned his ERS up. Of course, oh, he's pushed it too hard. He will not start any higher than 9th as the checker flag is about to fall. Oh, my goodness me. That is a disastrous for him. There it is. The checker flag has fallen. James will do no higher than 4th. A 17.232 for him. Flying Finn still the pole man in the Williams. 16.8. Barely a... not even 2 tenths behind him. It's Donoso on the medium tyres. Who is he still pressing on? Is he going to push his ERS up? No. I wonder whether Donoso's called it a day. Hypers has finished his qualifying for the session. 1:17.246 for him. Starts no higher than 5th. Collis is the other soft starter. That's not a great run for him. 17.3 is a decent time, but puts him right the way down his 6th. I mean, you got to think, if we look at gap to leader, a 2nd is 1st to 11th. Preschneider and Garrix. Oh, Preschneider, that's an 18.2 for him. Starts him in 12th, and Garrix is out there at the moment. Hopefully setting a new time is, I don't think... Photon's retired. That's 8th position for him. Yeah, I thought for Donoso was going to come in. What about Jarno in the Renault? 17.047. He's done a few laps on the medium tyres. Can he improve? That is a 16.960. That is, again, the fastest of the medium runners. 2nd position for him. Nice done. Corny retires. He will start no higher than 9th. Who's still out there? Danny is in the pits, and he's the last one, I think, to officially retire from the session. And that is your starting order. Well, well, well. So Collis did indeed improve on his time. 16.985. That has that was indeed his best run on those tyres. So interesting then. Car sounds. Please remain. Again, I'm not meaning to normally need a crow about that, but it's just quite hard to ignore it. Let's hope they remain. Okay. And yay, I'm the most experienced commentator in this tier. Oh yeah, I'm the only one. I'm the only one this evening. So, Flying Finn is going to take the pole for Williams, and then it is Jarno Watmere, Collis in 3rd. Fabrizio Donoso, I believe this is his first race as a full-time driver in this tier, although he's won 2 of them already. Then it is James, then Hypers, Steve, Photon, Corny, Gerrix, Lasse, Formula Danny, and Prey Schneider. Names you don't expect to see towards the tail end is exactly what you see this evening. Excuse me a moment. Whew. Yes, for those wondering why we have a bit of a depleted grid, it is because the first of the live events for F1 Esports starts next week. It is on Wednesday, I believe, at 7:30 p.m. UK time, or 7 o'clock. Might be 7 o'clock. You know what? I've forgotten. Unbelievable. Yeah, I've commentated on the qualifying rounds. The last 2 weeks I've been commentating on the F1 Esports qualifiers, which is actually why I've stepped out of this very com box for the season, is because I'm involved in the F1 Esports qualifiers. And as such, this is actually my 5th commentary this week. So thankfully I've had some gaps in between them. So I've reminded my wife and my children what I look like, and also given my voice a bit of a break. Right, please, car engine, stay with me. That's not promising. Oh, heavenly. 33 laps then here at Catalunya. So yes, as mentioned, because we have F1 Esports coming up and a number of drivers in this tier are involved in the current F1 Esports Pro Draft and the Challenger Series and what have you, the first live event is this coming week, so a lot of them have had to fly into the UK from overseas, i.e. their respective countries. So therefore, yes, we have less people to shout about. However, I have no doubt whatsoever that we will have some amazing races, especially with the likes of Formula Danny and Prey Schneider towards the tail of the field. So Flying Finn's going to be under a bit of pressure, and certainly Collis is as well. The only 2 soft starters in this race. Only Lasse and Prey Schneider going for the hards as well. There's only 3 drivers outside of the top 10, so everybody going with their qualifying time. The medium certainly being the popular one. Which, so that's going to be interesting for Lasse and Prey Schneider. But then why not, I suppose, if you're towards the tail end of the field, give it a try. I suppose is the best advice that they can... Well, that's the advice they're living on to. As they sweep their way around on the parade lap, heading towards the grid. Hopefully should not have any further distractions or messages or what have you. Or if I do, then they can wait. Here we go then, as they head towards the grid. We'll be under AI control now, and they will slot into their respective positions. Let us hope everybody has a good, clean race. Oh, don't start doing things like that now, computer. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we last did this, but come on. Stay with me here. So, Flying Finn on the front row, along with Jarno Watmere. This camera's not doing me any favours, but I'm going to have to run with it. Right, let's see what we've got then. We know this procedure by now. It is time for 5 lights and wind them up and let them go. A very short hold time this time. Can Flying Finn hold on to his lead? Lots of jostling towards the back. Jarno Watmere slots behind the Williams, who in turn is under pressure from Collis. Collis on the softest. Oh, Jarno Watmere goes for an outside manoeuvre into turn 1, but can't make it stick. Still side by side with the Williams. Oh no, Collis is round. Collis has had a terrible start. Donoso's gone with him. Oh my goodness, the Haas and the McLaren have come off the road. Collis, that is total disaster. He needed to make the strategy work, and unfortunately now finds himself in last. Flying Finn has got to break away and run. He's got to get away because he'll have to pit very, very soon. Jarno Watmere 2, James 3, Hypers 4, Photon 5, Gerrix 6. Danny is up to 7th already from starting in 12th. Let's actually go to, where are we? Position change, there it is. So Danny up 5 positions from where he started, but Donoso, Steve and Collis having a total disaster at this stage. Are all 3 of them having to pit? We didn't see any discarded carbon fibre, but it's often very difficult to tell. But look at Flying Finn. He is using that soft rubber to the maximum as he is heading on. He's already out of DRS range from Watmere, but James, well, pretty much everybody is within very, very short striking range of the back of the Renault. Of course, no DRS open for them at the moment as they come streaming down the start finish straight heading into turn 1. And Danny has just nailed Garrix before they even get to turn 1. There is the Alfa Romeo going through on the Red Bull and up into 6th for Formula Danny. Let's see what the guys at the back do. So Donoso and Steve and Collis, none of them pit. So just a bad start for them, but they continue. So Donoso then, Formula Danny now into 6th position, has got Photon, well, in fact got everybody, but and wow, look at that. So Flying Finn was looking at quite comfortably, well, a fair distance out of DRS range and has been reeled in a bit. So I wonder if he's made a mistake. So when this lap, that's very deep coming into turn 9. That's very close, but manages to keep it on the track then as he works his way through turn 10. Jarno Wame doing what he can, but at the moment James is in hot pursuit. Now whether James is making any particular moves at the moment, we haven't really seen, so I'm trying to keep an eye on absolutely everybody. Now, Donoso and Steve, if they've got no damage to their car, well, technically Collis as well, but Collis has probably taken too much out of those tyres already, trying to recover from that spin. But I would expect Donoso and Steve to catch up to the hard runners, as Lasse and Preschneider, fairly quickly. And, you know, the McLaren and the Mercedes are doing a pretty good job of hanging on to the back of this entire train. Now DRS is open. Now we should start to see the pack shuffle up. And look at that gap that Flying Finn's got for himself. He's found a second in a sector. Very, very nice from the Williams, but he will not be able to keep that pace up for very long. He qualified on those tyres, remember, and so he is going to struggle to maintain that kind of pace. James has almost broken DRS range to Hypers as well. In fact, he's really close to doing so. The second Williams is going to have to work very hard to keep within DRS range of Hypers, and DRS is real strong along that big start-finish straight. But it has its limits, so we'll see how well they do. James not looking to make a move on Jarno at the moment. He's just sitting there, you know, biding his time at the moment. These guys know what they're doing. There's the first DRS zone that is between turns 9 and 10. Not really anything to happen there. Not really much happens. It's down the start finish straight that they'll get the biggest tow and the biggest use of DRS. I'm fairly sure there's a DRS straight. We're about to find out whether I've just been talking nonsense or whether I'm actually correct on that one. Also keeping an eye on the times. Donoso has already overtaken Preschneider, so Donoso back into a points-paying position. There's only 13 cars, so it doesn't need too far to go. Yep, I was right. The start finish straight is indeed a DRS straight. Oh! No DRS for the Alpha! Oh! Is it? Is there DRS? Oh, there was DRS on the car. It didn't look like it was open for a moment. My old eyes doth deceive me as James tried to make the move on Jarno, but could not make it stick. Hypers is hanging on in there, not under direct threat from Photon. Danny is reading in the Toro Rosso at a fairly steady rate at the moment. But Flying Finn doing a brilliant job up front to get a decent gap there. You've got Garrix with Corny, Lasse, Donoso and Preschneider in that particular pack. Lasse and Preschneider, the hard starters. So they'll just be biding their time. They won't be interested at this stage in getting involved in anything. And Collis is reading them. Oh, big snap of oversteer. Oh, wow, goodness me. That was Donoso going miles wide at turn 10 there and has forfeited that position to Preschneider, probably to avoid an instant penalty on that one. No, Donoso didn't really have a choice. There's Steve. I wonder if he's had another incident or just struggled to kind of get to the back of the pack. But in a little bit of no man's land there, and Collis, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the pits relatively soon to get shot of those softs onto a set of hards. We will see. I very often get tyre strategies wrong, so we will... Kodiak going senile. Very true. I am an old bear, you see. I have no doubt whatsoever that the old grey cells will die on me sooner or later. That's the view from Hypers. And he can see James and Otmere, so that's the podium spots directly ahead of him. And again, he'll probably just be minding his own business, trying to close in on the top two. Oh, James having a lag moment there. That is keeping himself good and true. And Photon under pressure for Formula Danny. He's closed that gap right down. The second Alfa Romeo looking to claim that fourth position. Photon a little deep into turn 7. May have compromised his exit and run up to turn 9. But no, DRS open for, well, certainly for Danny, and Photon feeling the need to jump into the middle of the road to defend that inside line. He wasn't confident that Danny wasn't going to make that big move. It's certainly doable into turn 10, but you need a great run on the person you're trying to attack from really earlier than turn 9. It's not an easy place to overtake. James nice and close to the Renault now. Is he going to be able to make the move on Jarno? There up ahead is a Flying Finn. That gap, I think, is beginning to drop now. He may have burned the best out of his tyres. Jarno was not confident that James won't make the move. Jumps to the inside line. The Alpha again just could not... Oh, bit of a lag moment again for him. Just could not make the move, but he's got some brilliant pace in there. Corny and Garrix have swapped round, still side by side coming through into turn 2. Oh, nice bit of sliding from the Red Bull. He managed to hold that. So Corny then up into 7th position now in the Ferrari. There you at the bottom of the shot, you saw Danny and Photon still having their battle. Garrix, Lasse, Preschneider and Donoso still in this particular pack. Look at that lot. Donoso sizing them up, and goodness me, Donoso just dives on the inside of Preschneider coming into turn 5. You don't often find a move there, but he was confident he could make the move on those medium tyres over the hard shod Mercedes. So through into 10th for Donoso. Yep, definitely going senile. Mixing up everybody's names as always. It wouldn't be a commentary of mine if I didn't mix up everybody's names. Let's be honest. Anyone that's seen me commentate knows that is a trademark of mine. Danny keeping the pressure on Photon. Is he going to try and make a move somewhere unusual? No, he's going to hold on for the run into turn 1, I'd have thought. Needs to get a decent run out of here. Careful with that. Turn 15 apex. Nice run through the final turns. Photon looks to defend. He's gonna have no chance on that one. Goes to the inside line, but that is long since done. And right up ahead is James and Artmere swapping positions in exactly the same way. And goodness me, Hypers is right there as well. The Renault finally having to relinquish that position to James, and Collis has come into the pits for medium tyres. So yep, I definitely did get that tyre call wrong. I thought he might go hard. Are those medium tyres really going to last that long? Well, I guess Collis will tell us. I'm not convinced. I think he'll have to come in again, but we will see. That's the view from Hypers again. He's in 4th. He's looking at Jarno. And that gap up front is shrinking. I would expect to see Flying Finn in the pits fairly soon. Those softs seem to have given him the best that they're going to give. And he is losing time against the medium shot and rudders behind him. So let's have a look at Danny then. He's got 2 seconds to close down to that pack up ahead of him. There it is. 2nd, 3rd and 4th. There is Formula Danny in 5th position. To close in on that pack. There they are. 1.7 is the gap then for Flying Finn. He's not come in. He knows what lap he's aiming for, but he is losing time. Is Jarno going to make a move on? Yeah, he's too far back for that. Too far back to counter-attack. James then coming into turn 2. And of course Danny does not have anybody to slipstream, and DRS off of. Donoso has overtaken Lassane side by side as the McLaren comes back at the Haas. I think Donoso may well have overshot turn 1. He was a bit slow through 2, and that's given Lasse the position back. Lasse defends the inside line for turn 4. The Haas goes for the outside line. Goodness me, he's had his Weetabix this morning. And he's still going for it. He wants the inside line for 5. Very nicely done from both of them. That was brilliantly driven from the Haas of Donoso. And immediately then is going to be on the case of Garrix. Wow, that was a great move from Fabrizio Donoso. Thoroughly enjoyed that. More of that, please. And goodness me, look at that. Flying Finn's lead has just disintegrated now that James has come up into that position. And how wide was a Flying Finn coming through turn 12. Short, he's got to come in. Come in now. Your tyres are done. Surely he's got to get rid of them. Yep, there he goes. And it looked like he actually killed the cone on the way in. So Flying Finn in. That's going to hand the lead over to James. So James, Jarno and Hypers become your podium sitters at the moment. And that is what Danny has to look at. 2.5 seconds separates himself and Hypers. He wants the top 3 to really fight amongst themselves to catch up on them. And it's hard tyres for Flying Finn. That's rather what I thought Collis was going to go for. And of course, this early in the race, he's going to put the Williams at the tail of the field, but don't discount him. You know, we've seen these contra strategies work very well. Usually, as mentioned earlier, usually the contra strategy refers to the hard starters to soft tyres as opposed to the other way around, but most people have opted to start on the medium tyres. Oh, that's very deep coming over turn 7 and 8. That's going to have incurred Danny a warning. That looked nicely taken through turn 9. There's Photon and Corny. Donoso is breaking free of Garrix. He's taken that 7th position. We didn't see that one happen, but the Haas now on a bit of a charge as he is looking at the back of Corny for 6th as they come around turn 12. Whoops. Bit of a loose tail end for Donoso. He weaves his way through 14, 15. Oh, a little wide on the exit of 15, but keeps it on the black stuff. He's out of DRS range at the moment, but the pace that he's been showing, he could well be challenging Corny at the moment. So we're in the kind of strategic phase at the moment. Although Garrix, Preschneider and Lasse all still have DRS users behind Donoso, so he's going to have to bear that in mind. If he can't clear, and especially also bear in mind, Lasse and Preschneider are the hard starters. Wow, that was Garrix going wide at turn 3. That's so easy to do. Now the medium tyres, they're going to start giving up their best now. You know, Preschneider and Lasse started outside of the top 10, so there's no qualifying laps on these tyres. They can go probably another 10 laps or so at a rough guess, even on heavy fuel loads. So the best of these tyres are going to start to kick in about now, I'd have thought, or very, very soon. And the medium tyres are just going to start to struggle a little. If you look at, referring to Formula Danny, that gap between yourself and Hypers is increasing ever so slightly. A tenth here, half a tenth there. So that would go to show that he's either just not pushing as hard, which may well be the case. He wants to stretch out the medium phase, or, as I suspect, the best of the mediums has gone. So he's just being a bit, just mindful of that, just managing them. Donoso has now got DRS of the back of Corny. I didn't think it'd be too long before he was in striking range of the Ferrari. He's really closed him in. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if we started to see some movement from Preschneider and Lasse. Lasse doing a good job and hanging on to the back of Preschneider. So on board, as you can see, that is Gary's in 8th position. Gary's really wide, going through 4. Probably just wanted to get the hammer down, but the tyres not behaving themselves and not giving him the grip he needs. Nice tight turn through turn 5 for Preschneider. Preschneider could size up and move. Ooh, he's a little close there coming into 7 and 8. Could size up and move if he gets a decent run through 9. No, you need to be gaining on the guy ahead of you after that turn if you want to dive on the inside of 10. So Preschneider is right there to start making moves on the field ahead of him. And of course he'll be on the very softer rubber when the cars are at their lightest. So, speaking of the contra strategy, how is Flying Finn doing? He's 7.3 behind Steve now. But he's had no one around him. No one to sleep him off of, but no one to defend against. And Donoso is in. Wrong one. Oh no, Donoso couldn't get the speed limiter on in time. Oh dear. Unless he can prove that was a bug or something, that penalty will stick. Oh, what a shame for Donoso, and his hard tyres for him. That's not a surprise. I can't see. Well, he couldn't go for another set of mediums because we know that's not really any advantage in pitting twice in these 50% races, and softs ain't going to get anywhere near the end from there. So he had no choice, had to go to the hards, as all I suspect of the medium runners are, unless somehow these guys manage to stretch the medium tyres a very, very long way, but they'll lose so much time. It's, again, not worth doing. As we keep an eye on our top 3, well, top 4 including Danny. There's Photon as well, just getting into the shot. But Danny is still falling away from this top 3. But so much can happen in the second half of the race, and nothing is decided at all. No, it's not even close. James leads Opmir, leads Hypers, and there we go. So the move into turn 10 did indeed happen. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. Preschneider on Garrix. We saw the... Oh, here we go. Some of the medium runners are in. James and Hypers in. Jarno's chosen to continue. That's an interesting move. Let's get on board. Let's have a look at Lasse. Yeah, there we go. So Garrix and Steve in. Garrix had definitely been struggling. And another one that's fallen foul of the, a little bit slow on the pit lane speed limiter. That's going to hurt. Unless he has a godlike second phase of the race, which is certainly possible. These guys are very good at the end of the day. Collis, welcome back. He's been on those medium tyres for a while. Remember, he was spun out from the first lap on the soft tyres. He fell a long way back. If he can make those medium tyres last as long as he needs to, I'll be stunned. But we will see. Stranger things have happened. Flying Finn now right on the back of James. James just come out of the pits, of course. So the Williams might be able to make a move. Bearing in mind that Flying Finn's tyres will be up to temperature. Oh, bit of a lag moment there. But James is no slouch. He's leading this race for a long time, obviously. Surely Jarno's going to come in this time. I'm expecting the remaining medium runners, with the exception of the Collins, to come in. No, Jarno has carried on. Danny's in. Photon, yep, he's in, along with Corny. What does Jarno know that the rest don't? Interesting. I wonder whether Jarno's pushing his luck a little too far there. Bracenader's now second. Bracenader and Lasse are hard starters, now up to second and third. And that McLaren's closing back in on the Mercedes. I wonder if Lasse's now turned the wick up a little bit and starting to get on with it. He's been there or thereabouts with Bracenader for a while, but probably not felt the need to push too hard until now. I wonder if now's the time that Lasse is beginning to get on with it. So it does look like Bracenader is getting on with it as well. 6.5 seconds back to previous race leader James, who's still got Flying Finn for company. Hypers is 1.2 off the back of his teammate. And there is Danny, 2.3 off the back. So Danny has gained a little bit on those ahead of him. Hypers, Finn and James all ahead of him before the pit stops began. He was knocking on the door, 3-second gap, which is now considerably under that. So doing a pretty good job there is Formula. Danny, where is Jarno? Is he coming in? Yes, he is. It's nice having the tyre wall the same colour as your car, Jarno, but be sensible. Oh, that was close. That was very close. Watching the speedo then to see if he was going to fall foul of the pit lane speed limit problem. That must have been absolutely very, very close. Hello, Jan. Welcome to the UK, my friend. He is one of our esports participants. Oh, Formula Danny is getting on the penalty board. And Flying Finn has got the fastest lap. Nicely done. And whoa, he is really piling the pressure onto James at the moment. Right behind them is Jarno. So Jarno fed out pretty well. And there, right behind his Hypers. So Jarno Otmir has done pretty well with extending that medium stint. I thought he was pushing his luck a bit too far, but he may well have bagged himself a podium spot here. He's in, essentially, overall third. We will see. Plenty of time to go. Hello, Borderline. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Let's have a look at our leaders once again. Bracenader leads Lasse by 0.6 of a second, then 5.7, and shrinking behind them is James. Now, that's going to be interesting to see if James catches these two when they pit or if they continue to fight. Let's see what will happen, because James is really gunning for it at the moment. There is the Alpha with the Williams and Renault in hot pursuit. Hypers is really close to... Can Hypers hold on to DRS? He's really, really close to it, and he does indeed. He was dangerously close to losing the DRS, actually, off the back of Jarno. Oh, Collis now with a penalty on the board. Great shame. Look at this lot. I did say, even though with a depleted grid, we still should have some great racing, and we are shaping up for exactly that. I am very well, Borderline. I've been a busy bunny this week, but I am always happy to be, come back to my roots somewhat. Come back and commentate on this very tier. Thank you very much for asking. Hope you're well. I hope all of you happy spectators are well. Jumping back up to the top of the field then. Lassie still keeping the pressure on. He's keeping the DRS open. But no luck. There you can see the ever approaching James with Finn and Jarno and Hypers in hot pursuit. Danny's fallen a little bit off the back of them. Very close between the Merc and the McLaren. Around the final turn. Oh, that's close. It looks close to me. It may well not look anywhere near close enough for them. Oh, now the fastest lap beginning to change that. Hypers is getting his name now. Oh, man, look at Jarno's beginning to get a little bit fidgety behind Flying Finn. That's more making himself known. We've seen a few people fall off the road at turn 3 already, but these guys with pretty fresh rubber on. Now, the one that's technically at a bit of a disadvantage, you could argue, is Flying Finn, because he came in earlier than the rest. He's got some laps on those hard tyres already. Even still, I should think he might struggle a bit towards the closing stages, but those tyres should last all right. I'd have thought less than 5 seconds now separates James to the top 2. So James, along with this train following, is gaining on the top guys pretty quickly. But Danny doesn't seem to be able to keep up at the moment. It's impossible to tell unless the side plates look like they're there. Either Danny is biding his time. Oh, he's must be struggling with the with pace at the moment. We will see. And Lassie is in. Oh, just. I know these guys practice the screaming to the night. Oh, that's Steve. That's not the guy I was aiming for. So that's one obstacle out of the way for James, and something Prationated no longer has to worry about. Oh, Jarno was very, very close to Flying Finn, but has gone too deep into turn 1. Is that going to give Hypers an opportunity now for that potentially? Oh, I didn't expect him to come down a gear coming through turn 3. Medium tyres for Lassie. Both McLarens on the medium tyres, but Collis has been on his for a while now. And Flying Finn still keeping the pressure on. Where is Prationated? He is coming down to turn 10. Hypers is getting very close. Or is the closest to somebody else in this particular battle. Although Flying Finn, under braking, gets very close to James coming into that turn 10. As always, it's difficult for me to know where to look, but it's a very nice problem to have. Now, is Prationated going to follow suit on... Yep, I was just thinking, is he going to cover off Lassie? And he does indeed. But they still have a decent amount of time on the medium tyres to make a difference essentially. So don't discount Lassie and Prationated just yet. Whoa, look how close Flying Finn's getting to the back of James. We have a real scrap on our hands for the lead of the race, and Hypers. So both Williams are attacking someone, because Hypers is not far off the back of Jarno either. He may not be directly under the rear wing. Oh, we've lost Steve. Oh, that is a shame. Oh, I forgot it does that. Stop it. Stop. There we go. I forgot you can't look at retired drivers. My mistake, apologies, unless that works. Nope, it doesn't work. Unfortunately, you can't look at retired drivers, which is a bit of a shame. So Steve is out. He just come into the pits. I can see he's on 0 laps on his tyres. So he had pulled in and retired his car. 12 cars remain. One big crash and everybody is guaranteed points, basically. Is our effective... it is our lead battle now, with Prationated and Lassie coming into the pits. And look how close Lassie is to Prationated. He's still on the back of that Mercedes, where he's been all race long. Garrix isn't too far off the back of them either, so that Red Bull could join in that party. We will see. Flying Finn getting close. Oh, we've got a problem. Sector 1 and 2, so that's somewhere around where we're coming up to, I would have thought. Someone flown off the road at turn 3. Well, whatever it is, it's cleaned itself up. So Flying Finn is really knocking on the door of what I believe would be his first win if he was able to overcome James. Actually, would be first win for both of them. Come to think of it. Top 4 separated by what? Are they by not even 2 seconds for the top 4. Danny still minding his own business back there, still hovering around the 2.5 second mark. He's closed in a bit. Got up to I think 2.8 a few laps ago. But still doing what he can to keep him contented with the top guys. Corny on the back of Photon. That's close. That's for 7th. The Ferrari right underneath the diffuser of the Toro Rosso. That's a battle that's ensuing. I would think Collis is going to be struggling now. Even with a lighter car, those mediums surely are not going to hold too much longer. And voila! For once I got the call right. Oh! That's close to the wall. Can he slow it down? Yeah, he slowed that down in plenty of time. Preisnader has got the fastest lap now. And with no DRS as well, bear in mind. And he couldn't have slipstreamed off of Collis because Collis would have jumped out of the way too early for him. So Preisnader now, what's he got to the leader? He's got 14 seconds and 13 laps. Is it doable? I would need some luck and some scrapping, I'd have thought, from the ones ahead of him. But again, stranger things have happened. Oh no, again, another penalty for Formula Danny. Now that will definitively drop him behind Donoso and potentially behind Photon as well. Ouch. Again, jumping back to this top 4, you just get the feeling that anything is likely to happen with them. A little bit too spaced out at the moment. They may well just be kind of biding their time and waiting for the opportunity to strike. Again, DRS for Hypers and Yano and Finn, but that essentially cancels each other out. The only one that suffers is James, but James is far enough ahead of Flying Finn to keep the Williams behind him. That's a melting pot that's ready to boil over, it really is. Let's jump back to Corny on the back of Photon then. They've just gone through turns 1 and 2. The Ferrari ready to demote the Toro Rosso. He's been looming there for a while, but Preisnader, with the pace he seems to be experiencing on those medium tyres, could well, in fact, he's likely to get involved in that battle for 7th and is dragging Lassie with him. So that is going to be very interesting. Hypers is getting close to Yano, not close enough though. It's going to take a mistake, I would have thought, to really shuffle this grid around. But we will see. Through the final few turns once again. And here they come to complete lap 22. Not a great run for Hypers, though. You can see how Yano's just pulled away from him. Really the one in the attacking seat potentially is Finn, but again, either biding their time or they're just not able to overhaul the pace difference between themselves and the cars ahead of them. Corny's getting very close. The Ferrari side by side with the Toro Rosso, but again, just not quite there to make the move stick. All the while, Preisnader and Lassie are coming. Oh, Collis with a fresh pair of medium boots has got himself the fastest lap. That'll deny the fastest lap point to anyone ahead of him unless there's a major collision to bring him into the points. Like the real world F1. Oh no, James! That is catastrophic. If the race finished now, that would hand Flying Finn his first win of the season. Fairly sure it's his first win of the season. Oh dear, oh dear. Now, if James has been biding his time, and I don't reckon he has, I think he has been pushing pretty hard. then now would be the time to try and get the foot down to get away from the chasing pack. But that is going to be very difficult. He's going to rely on someone getting it really badly wrong behind him. Oh, Flying Finn getting close, but again, not close enough. But with that penalty on the board now, Flying Finn just needs to kind of hold it there. He needs to concentrate more on Jarno behind him than James ahead of him. Because that is going to drop. Yeah, that's going to drop James down to 4th. That penalty. Now, those 3-second penalties can be appealed, but generally those track limit ones aren't. Oh, Praisnade is getting close to Corny. So now that battle for 7th is now a 4-way fight. They're heading down towards turn 5 now. Bit of a lock-up from Corny. And Praisnade then powers out of turn 5 through 6, 7 and 8. Just biding his time, really. No, doesn't fancy it. Doesn't fancy moving to 9. He's going to sign up and move into 1. And considering that's probably a good seconds gap that's vanished in the last lap, I would imagine Corny is not going to fight that too hard. It's going to be interesting to see if Praisnade goes for both Corny and Photon at the same time. Jump up to our top 4 again. James has got himself a little bit of a bigger gap than he had last time, but it's not anywhere near enough. As DRS helps bring that trailing 3 back into striking range again. Praisnade nowhere near making a move on both of them. But of course with DRS, whoa, my goodness! Right, now I did not expect that. I was going to say with DRS that keeps the Ferrari ahead of him. I did not expect Praisnade to then barrel into turn 1 alongside Corny, and I have a funny feeling Corny didn't expect that either, but well driven from both of them, so that didn't go horribly wrong. Either that or they're desynced and they're not actually in the positions we think there are, but we'll see. They look like they behaved themselves as if they were side by side. So Praisnade has still got it to do. And Lasse is... Oh, not again, Corny. Oh dear, that's turn 9 that's caught out. That's claimed another victim. Oh, Jarno's getting close to Finn. And James is trying... If James can break the DRS to Flying Finn in the next lap or so, he might have a chance to do it. He might have a chance to overhaul that 3 seconds, but he has got to just go for it. But there is a potential for that because Flying Finn's tyres are 4 laps older. We will see. Finn could well start to struggle earlier than those around him, and that indeed could hold up Jarno. But is whether it's going to happen quick enough for James to be able to take advantage of it. That's the real question. Oh, back to this battle again. Praisnade piling the pressure onto Corny as they come round turn 4. Oh, he had to think about it into turn 3. I think that put Corny off more than anything else. Photon can't get away either. Into 6, 7 and 8. Praisnade is not afraid to do the alternate manoeuvres. Is he going to think about moving to 9? Again, Corny's not had a bad run as Praisnade needs to make a move into turn 9, but then we just saw that incredible dive into turn 1. So anything is possible. We'll come back to these guys in a minute. We check in once again in our lead for... Oh, Finn's close! Finn's close! James defends, and it's all for naught! Flying Finn has gone up into the lead! The Williams is leading the way! So James must have had a pretty bad run off of turns 15 to 16. Nicely done, Flying Finn. He's not showing any sign of struggling on those tyres just yet. But now, of course, he's going to be in... he's not going to be the one under pressure. Let's check in with the other group. They've come through those early turns. And again, Praisnade not making his way past Corny, but they may opt not to do so. He hasn't got a lot of laps left. You know, he can't really play the waiting game for too long. There's not very many laps remaining of this race. But Mistakes can still happen. Top 4 still incredibly close together. There is Danny behind. And Donoso! Oh my goodness me. I can't remember if Danny's got two penalties on the board. James lagged and lost half a second. That would do it. That difference would have lost him. James, unfortunately, just seems really susceptible with these sudden lag spikes. Oh, he's going to nail Flying Finn here. The Williams had no answer to that whatsoever. But then the Williams doesn't need an answer to that. Oh, yeah, I know that's close. Yeah, Flying Finn does not need to fight too hard, does not need to lose time, doesn't want to risk being shoved off the road or losing any valuable parts of the car. And again, still Preschneider can't get past. So maybe Preschneider's lost the best of those medium tyres. They will start to struggle by now. So it could be that Preschneider has lost his chance. It would be a bit of a shame. But still 5 laps to go. 6 laps to go. I can math. And again, the top 4. Oh wow! It looks like Danny just gets that tail out wagging on that turn 9 when we look back at him like that. As Hypers has a look on the inside of turn 9, turn 10, but not really close enough to do it. That's more of a distraction technique from Jarno, or for Jarno, I should say. Lovely exit from 15 to 16 for James. And a fastest lap to boot. But here comes Finn. He's gaining quick. Not close enough. And same for the other Williams. It's nice to see Williams attacking cars. I'm really surprised Preschneider's not made the move. Lassie as well, so I'm assuming that those mediums are gone. By that standard, I'm surprised Flying Finn is still hanging on in there. I would think he's really going to start to struggle now. I can't see that he's going to be able to keep on pressuring James as hard as he needs to try and take over the lead. But then if James has another technical problem, that may be all he needs. Oh, Garrick's now on the penalty board. But his day has been pretty bad down there in 11th position. Very much on his own. Lucas is staying quite close to Jarno. Let's ride on board with him through this final section. It's been the prime overtaking spot. But again, just each DRS cancels out the one behind them. And James had a great run through there. It was 8 tenths. I think as they crossed over the line, so that's nowhere near close enough for Flying Finn. But again, he may not be trying to. May well just be sitting there. He'll be well aware of the penalty situation. Of course, that's why Preschneider is struggling, because Corny keeps getting DRS off a Photon. Lassay's not made an impact on the Mercedes either. So the McLaren may be struggling a little bit as well on tyres. I know I keep jumping back to the same packs, but Formula Danny's very much on his own, and we have lost Collis. Oh dear. And wow, his car's ghosted that much, it literally vanished. So we have lost the McLaren. A great shame, but his race was pretty much scuppered at turn 1 on lap 1. Danny is closing on this pack, but nowhere near quick enough to overhaul it and the penalties that he's carrying. Ooh, close. James again, a great exit. Did he break? He broke DRS to Flying Finn. Now that's significant if he's able to run off, but I doubt he's going to be able to. Well, he's hoping that Flying Finn's tyres have just completely died. He's certainly got very little ERS on the go. Oh no, Collis Games crashed. That's a shame. That's a shame to hear, sir. Now, James's only hope is that Flying Finn's got nothing left in his tyres, and James can overhaul that 3-second penalty. That's going to be the race of his life to hold on to that top spot. He needed to have broken that DRS a bit earlier, really. And Hypers again, looking to try and distract Jarno. Jarno's fully focused on the Williams ahead of him, not behind him. As the battle for the remaining podium positions continues. Through the final turns. Once again, as we head down to the line to start our penultimate lap. Oh, Jarno is in prime attacking position. There he goes. Oh, Flying Finn. You were too late on the defensive manoeuvre there. Jarno really having to be defensive. Here comes the other Williams. He's going to demote Flying Finn from... Oh, what percentage down to 4th? No, Hypers can't do it. He's hanging on to the outside now. What's the inside for 3? And no, he went onto the grass and lost traction. But Jarno Opmeer up into 2nd position now. Goodness me, I think Flying Finn has just got nothing left on those boots. And we switch to gap to leader. James will still fall behind Hypers, but James could still salvage a podium out of this. So I don't believe... Wrong one. I don't believe Finn and Hypers have any penalty. I don't know that Jarno does either. But Jarno is almost breaking DRS to Flying Finn. And there's Danny now getting involved in the dying stages of this race. Jarno is looking set to claim his 2nd win of the season. He's pitted slightly later than those around him, and he's using what tyre life he's got left to his best advantage. Let's have a look at Hypers. What's he going to do against his teammate? Flying Finn again has no DRS, and he's going to have therefore no defence. He's wiggling around, but Hypers is going to cruise right past him. So that is from a 1 point first. Oh, Flying Finn's flown off the road. Oh my goodness, you're joking. Flying Finn has reappeared ahead of Hypers. What on earth? Surely that is going to be a steward's inquiry. I'm stunned that Flying Finn didn't relinquish that position. But amazingly, with that going on, James will only fall to 2nd. Well, talk about never giving up. And Danny's right there as well, but Danny, unfortunately, is carrying 2 penalties, I think. He might, if he's lucky... Oh, Hyper's having a look on the inside of 10. He might get enough to not lose a position to Fabrizio Donoso, but we will see. Oh, Fabrizio's carrying a penalty, so he's already achieved that. But, my goodness me, what a crazy end to the race it has been. So the man crossing the line first is going to be this man, Veloci James, but he is going to lose that. 2, and there it is. Jarno Opmeer has crossed the line in 2nd, and indeed James only falls to that 2nd spot. So Jarno 1, James 2, Flying Finn 3, and Fabrizio Donoso gained himself another penalty and falls all the way down to 10th position. That'll be the stop-go penalty he got for speeding in the pit lane. Oh my day, I didn't even get a chance to read the rest of them. And Flying Finn's ghost is going to slam into the back of Jarno. Wow. What a race that was. Absolutely incredible. You could not have called it. Not until the dying moments could you have called that. I'd imagine James is kicking himself a little bit now. But it was still a great effort nonetheless. And he never gave up. He wanted to break that slipstream earlier. But I'm sure he was doing everything he possibly could to do exactly that. My word. So here are the finishing positions as they stand, or will be when they pop up. There we go. So this is before any steward's intervention. Jarno Opmeer is taking his 2nd win of the season, as mentioned. James 2, Flying Finn 3, Hypers 4, Formula Danny 5, Photon 6, Prationator 7, Lassie 8, Corny 9. Donoso did indeed finish in the top 10, barely, with the penalties sadly that he was carrying. Then Gerrits, Collis and Steve, sadly not. So Steve didn't see the flag. Collis, we'd lost earlier on, and Garrick's finishing in 11th position. Oh my! What a crazy finish. Right. Let's see if anybody wants to have a chat to me, shall we? Because that was quite the finish. No one is available just yet, which is absolutely fine. They don't have to come and speak to me. It is always nice to get a word with the drivers to see how they feel and how, their side of the race, but it is certainly not mandatory. We will see then what they have to say. And there is Hypers. Marvellous. Let's get the music going. Uno momento. Let's get that one on. That's too loud. Apologies. Right. Let's grab him over. Hello, Hypers.
Hello.
Well, you were in a long battle. we had the great pleasure of... I'm sure we enjoyed it more than you did. Talk us through it, because you were in that pack for so long and then really made some interesting moves towards the end. Talk us through it.
Well, this is basically like China version 2, just like a DRS train where you can't really get past or anything. But I kind of expected that's gonna happen. Again, I got screwed in a pit. I got held for a bit. I don't know why again, but that's literally happened to me every single race. And I was just keeping behind, and on the last few laps I was attacking Finn. And yeah, we had a small not maybe contact, but a small incident. I'm not sure how that turned out. We need to talk it through. Yeah, maybe that's gonna be a P3. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll report it. But overall, another frustrating race where you really have the pace, but you can't really show it. That's really frustrating. But I guess P4 is also good. I didn't really have good pace coming into this race, so I'm happy with that.
Well, P4 when you're not having the pace is it's not a bad position to be in. So we look forward then to. So what tracks are you looking forward to? What tracks really plays to your strength?
Monaco for sure. I might have just
crazy man.
I might have just jinxed myself, and I'm gonna crash out lap 2. But yeah, definitely Monaco is a strong track for me. Britain. These kind of tracks, yeah, I'm looking forward to. I've never really had good first 5 races of the season. I never really liked the track, so I think I'm at 52 points now, which is really solid.
I also owe you an apology. I think you were the first person to tweet after I'd announced I was standing down from the commentary box. It seemed that there was a lot of confusion, people thinking I was leaving AOR, and I think you were one of the first to report it. I wholeheartedly apologise for that. Not the situation whatsoever. It's just time management, that's all. But great race, Hypers. Thank you very much for providing some great entertainment for us, and good luck for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
As it is, no one else has come forward. We'll give them a few more minutes to kind of calm down and get the adrenaline a little bit out of their system, and hopefully have a chat to us. It's always nice to, as mentioned, get a bit of a chat. Especially with those that finish a little bit out of position, because there's generally incidents we don't have a chance to see that may have influenced their particular finishing position. I'd particularly like to have a chat with Danny to see what he feels like about the penalties he's got on the board. Hopefully I'm not a bit of a jinx for him, because his first race that I commentated on didn't go particularly well. Neither did the second one that I commentated on. Then the 2 I missed, he did pretty well in. He was on the podium. So doesn't look like he wants to come forward, which is absolutely fine. No one else wanted to have a chat with me. So we are going to wrap it up at this point. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream. A great pleasure to have you along for the ride. Thank you very much to our sponsors. Without you guys, AOR would not continue to grow. And we are always very thankful for that. Next time out is of course next week. Same time, same place. Hopefully Nick and Austin will be back in the box. Otherwise you might have to put up with me again. And there's only so much of me that anyone should tolerate. But there we go. Thank you very much. And we will be back once again. So until then, thank you very much. And good night.